So this is my first take, and I'm not quite sure how it's gonna come out. I don't feel like I'm ready to be on screen. Um, I've been called to be in solitude in a space of disconnecting from everything and everyone, and really being in a space with self to help me get through this process. So this is going to be the first time I go on record saying this, but and I am experiencing a seventh dimensional pregnancy. And it it hasn't been a normal pregnancy by any means. I suppose that's what it's supposed to be, not normal. Normal would be what most people believe would be a normal pregnancy is something like the third dimension, where where you follow these ancient signs and symptoms and stuff that's happened. Cancel clear. Okay, thank you, Spirit. Not ancient. Within the last 100 years, things have shifted so much, and the Piscean Age brought in the Industrial Revolution um, and and really tried to anchor humanity into the third dimension. And there's been a lot that has happened in the last few years. And so when I say dimensions, I first started learning about dimensions when I was in Colorado. So it's probably late 2017, early 2018, and I really didn't know what it meant, but I was being drawn to these accounts on Instagram. I had a private Instagram page, and I was being drawn to these accounts that were talking about living in the fifth dimension, and I had no idea what they were talking about, but it somehow resonated. It made me want to know more. So fast forward through the first part of my deepest healing journey, um, until now, because now with the pregnancy it definitely feels much deeper than anything before. But I suppose the start of my last deepest healing journey, which was the shift out of alcoholism and into my new state of being. And so that for me was a lot of learning very fast, a lot of solitude, a lot of staying away from pretty much everything and everyone. I really disconnected from everything, and I went deep, and I meditated, and I did yoga, and that was my life for a few years. And through that, I had some really deep, profound healing that happened, and there's more to share on that. But to get back to where we're at, in 2020, I discovered a YouTube channel that explained the different dimensions a little deeper. And I vividly remember watching it and feeling something when I watched it. It wasn't like it didn't make sense. Like, it was like my soul was able to comprehend what they were saying, even though I didn't know what it meant. So they were talking about how we live multidimensionally, and how if we choose to live out one of our parallel lifetimes in a different dimension or a different universe, so to speak, then we could choose that. However, our body that is in the third dimension in this earth realm would no longer be. So that body would have to die for your soul to go to the fourth dimension, which is typically where most people were wanting to go at that time, or I suppose even down to the second dimension is what my guides are telling me now. Odd, but I guess as humanity, we've risen up, so a lot of people want to go back to what's comfortable. So Anyhow, I watched this whole video and it really resonated for me, and it started to open my mind to parallel universes and different dimensions. And then fast forward, um, I believe it was like summer of 2020, a person came to visit, and we were driving through Bird Rock in La Jolla, which Bird Rock is typically a very quiet, really chill place. There's not really any drama or police activity or anything crazy like that. It's usually just like very quiet, very chill. So anyhow, we're driving through this space, and there are people yelling and cussing each other out, and there's a lady that cuts me off on the road. And in that moment, I looked at the person that I was in the car with and I said, "We're in a lower dimension right now." And the person said, "Yeah, you felt something was off too?" And I said, "Absolutely. Hold on a second." And I put on a frequency so I could listen to the frequency, which I knew would raise my vibration. And instantly we were out of that dimension and everything around us shifted and changed. It was like the quiet, peaceful, chill bird rock that I was used to. It wasn't that lower dimensional frequency where there was all of this extra lower vibrations and negativities going on. So that was really fascinating to me. And that is when I started to learn a little bit more about dimensions and time and space. And I connected with somebody named Jules at that time, and she did probably my first reading ever in this lifetime, I guess I should say. And she didn't know anything about me, and she went right into, she didn't pull any cards or do anything like that. She just went right into my soul reading, and she gave me some messages that were really spot on, and I learned a lot from her very quickly. She kind of became my mentor for a little bit of time. It wasn't more than probably a year and a half, but I really looked up to her and what she was doing at the time, and how she was teaching and educating people on different things. And so I learned a lot from her. And then moving into the next time and space that you and I created our divine union, we came together, and that was a really beautiful and magical thing, and we have so many magical stories to share about that. And then from that space, I think the next thing we learned about we kind of dove deeper into that YouTube video, he and I together, and we watched it and we started to understand more. And then, I can't remember if we had started quantum healing hypnosis yet. I don't believe we did. So we went to Cosmic Awakening in Sedona with Brion, and at Cosmic Awakening, Brion had this graph that showed the different dimensions and what happens in the different dimensions. It was very detailed and laid out, and it really just showed like what was in those dimensions. It didn't like elaborate or go any further. I'm sure he could, but that wasn't part of the sequence of what we were working through. So instead, we took down that template that day, and we've referred back to it many times. And so that's something that we'll be referencing Rion and putting out there with a deeper comprehension and understanding for people, so that they can know the difference between the dimensions. Now, for us, what we learned, the most important part that we learned from Rion, was that we have what he calls a light side and a night side. And the night side is like our shadow aspects. It's the parts of ourselves that maybe we're not so fond of, or we just haven't learned to process through. It's some of those lower vibrational energies of shame, guilt, anger, resentment, and some of those things. So the light side, on the other hand, is the love and the light and the peace and the serenity and tranquility and everything else that the joy, right? The bliss. And so we spent a lot of our time in the first part of our marriage in that high vibrational light side. And we did have moments, I mean, don't get me wrong, we did a lot of shadow work, but the shadow work, we would go into them in waves. We would work with our night side and then process through, purge, alchemize, do whatever we needed to do, and then rise into our light side. And so our light side is very bright, and most people are able to see that when we're together. We carry a frequency on our own, but when Dario and I are together, our frequency is that much brighter. And so for some people, it may trigger them, it may bring up some shadow, and they may instantly not like us. And for other people, they really feel comforted and enjoy and intrigued. And so we're able to really see where people are at on their journeys, and we're able to learn from that and really be observers um, and learn compassion. That was probably the biggest thing that we learned in 2021 was how to have compassion for people and their journey and where they're at on their journey, and how there is nothing that can that there's nothing that we're supposed to be doing to shift anyone's journey. That, you know, everyone comes in on their own, in their own time and space, and they have their own soul lessons that they need to grow through, and it's not for us to judge or not be compassionate with them, not have empathy for them. And so we have had that, and we have had many people come and go. We've had many people that have dropped into the shadow and not wanted to do the work, and they haven't come out of it. And maybe one day they will, and you know, we just send them love, we wish them the best, and we continue on our journey, because we're constantly growing and shifting and getting brighter and lighter. And so as we do that, anyone who's not doing that, anyone who stops doing the work and just, you know, enjoys the shadow and likes being in that dark space and playing with lower vibrational energies, is not for us. So we've really had to detach from a lot of people because of that. And that maybe that'll shift, you know, they might shift into a higher vibration, and who knows, we may go through something that drops us down into a lower vibration. That's definitely happened. So that kind of is the gist of dimensions. What was the next thing? So then we did start doing quantum healing hypnosis technique, and the quantum healing hypnosis technique has really been instrumental in our healing process and in understanding and comprehending the world as the earth realm, thank you, as is. And so that's kind of a subject in and of itself, so I don't really want to get fully into it, but it did teach us how to go into different times and spaces, and how to shift vibrations, and really have better control over our lives. Not a controlling sense where we not in the ego, I guess is what I'm trying to say. When the control is not in the ego, in the protector mode, it's more from the higher self. We're connecting with our highest self, we're asking the questions, we're doing the work. And so that's been our cycle now for a while. And over a year ago, so right now it's April 3rd, I believe, so the portal day is tomorrow, April 3rd, 2024. And over a year ago, so February of 2023, is when I found out I was pregnant. And I know it sounds wild, right? Like, how can I be pregnant for over a year? Well, originally I thought that it was just the normal, quote unquote normal 12-month pregnancy, which most people don't know exists. But the pregnancy really, in the third dimension, the pregnancy would start the first 3 months in the spiritual, and prepping, because everything starts in the spiritual realm, right? So it would start in the spiritual, it would prep your body, get you ready, do all the things that you needed to do. And then by the time it was created in the physical, then in the physical, in the 3D, you would have 9 months of gestation, and the baby or babies would be born, and it just was a very kind of routine and how do I say this? Structured routine. Thank you, Spirit. Routine and structured way to move through pregnancy and gestation. And so when I was told that I was pregnant in February of 2023, I immediately started having signs and symptoms, and I would get nauseous, and then I would eat something and I would feel better, and then as time went on, I had more signs and symptoms of pregnancy where, my breasts were tender, or I had melasma for a while, so I knew, like, I had these dark spots underneath my arms, and I knew that it had to be because of the pregnancy, because I never had anything like it before. And when I looked it up, it was there is a condition that most melanated women get. Um, I suppose everyone's melanated, but more melanated. And that's basically what it is. It's the melanoma. I don't know how to say that, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. Um, it's coming out. So you get like these dark spots on your skin, and so that to me again was another sign. And then, like, more things happened. Like, my joints started to hurt, and my feet started to swell, and I went through all of these like 3D symptoms of pregnancy. And then the one thing I could never get was when the babies were going to be here. When are they going to join us in Earth Realm? And babies, I say plural, and I know people think I'm crazy because we haven't done any sonograms, any ultrasounds. We're not doing anything with Western medicine. It doesn't resonate for us. We're really here to shift humanity away from the business of Western medicine and into a more Spirit doesn't even want me to say holistic, because that word has been overused and it's not in the highest vibration as it used to be. So a more natural way of doing things and taking care of our bodies, and doing things like from and of the earth, because Mama Earth is here to take care of us in so many ways, and she will guide us and give us all of the things that we need to continue on our journey. So that's what we're moving towards, and we knew we wanted to do that with the babies as well. And because I am an intuitive, I constantly started receiving these messages that we were having twins. And at first I didn't want to believe it. I thought it was crazy. I was like, whoa, no. But then, it came to me, and I really opened up to it, and I realized like it was going to be something that I needed to embrace. And so I did. And now, we're super excited to have our twins enter this realm and be in this space with us. And so, however, we could not get a time. We didn't know when the babies were going to be here. Originally, we thought they were going to be here November of 2023. Then we thought it would be January, which would be like the full cycle year of 2024. And now we're in April of 2024, and they're not here, and I don't feel like they're coming anytime soon. And so I'm in this space right now where I don't know how to talk to people or respond to questions. If I talk to people about these dimensions at the moment, a lot of people are just now moving into the fifth dimension. The 3D is dropping off. The fourth, the 3D has already dropped off. Thank you, Spirit, for correcting me. The fourth dimension is still present, so still a lot of shadow work for people. And the fifth dimension is what most people are living. So most people are going in and out of the 4 and the 5D at this point. Dario and I have been living in the 5D pretty much since we vibrated into each other, since we got married. And so while other people were going in and out of the 3, 4, and 5D, Dario and I had pretty much anchored in our 5D already. So it doesn't surprise me now hearing that the babies are 7th dimensional beings, and that Dario and I are now, while everyone else is still growing through the 4th and the 5th dimensions, Dario and I are growing through the 6th and the 7th. And 6th, again, would be the shadow work. So a lot of purging, a lot of ancestral clearing, clearing generational traumas and lower vibrational energies that need to be purged and alchemized, and really feeling that through our bodies. And so we're, the shadow work has gotten deeper in a sense. I want to say harder, but Spirit's telling me it's not harder, it's just different, and we're not, so the 4D really was like around the whole time the 5D was around. So anytime a lot of people were going back and forth between that for a very, very long time. And so, so this new like 60 and 70 is just unfamiliar. And so it's not that it's harder, it's just that we have to learn how to navigate through it and how to lean in and embrace, the shadow, the things that are not easy. And so for me right now, the things that are not easy are feeling like I have to explain myself, like I have to explain my pregnancy. And, when people are asking me all the time, when are they coming? Are they not here yet? And then they go, because of the dimension that most people are in, then they go into fear. And they fear that something's going to happen to the babies, and they project all of these feelings onto me. And I am so sensitive, so I feel everything that everyone is projecting onto me, and it is intense. I am constantly cutting cords and clearing and trying to detach from everything and everyone around me, so that I don't have to feel the projections that they put on me. And so, recently I changed my phone number. I disconnected from a lot of people. And I even asked my guides, like, should I have not told anybody about this pregnancy? Like, did I mess up? Am I wrong that, that I said anything, that I had, a warrior's baby meetup, or that I did a mama blessing, or, like, should I have not told people? Because I don't know how to explain it now. And how do I tell my corporate job, which I know that's a problem in and of itself, because corporate jobs do not resonate in the higher dimensions. However, it is still a space I haven't been able to let go of. All right, thank you, Spirit, for bringing that through. So because I haven't been able to let go of it, I feel like, how do I tell my corporate job that, yeah, I'm still pregnant, and no, I'm not having the babies anytime soon, and they're gonna think I'm crazy. So many people could think I'm crazy right now. And don't get me wrong, there have been times where I have truly felt like I've asked my closest friends, am I losing my mind? What is this? And, it doesn't matter who I'm talking to or when or where, but so many different people I talk to, and everyone that has a good comprehension of dimensions, they really get it. And so, they keep right along with me, telling me that everything's going to be okay, the babies are good, to detach from all of the other vibrations, and to just go with the flow, and lean in, and like everything that I would tell my clients. And so I appreciate those people that are in our vibration in Manandarios and that are assisting me through this, because it has not been an easy pregnancy. Although, I mean, spirit's like, what's easy, right? Like, they say anything worth having is, it's not gonna come easy. It's gonna, take work, and you're gonna have to really like go deep and know yourself, really know yourself, and be comfortable in that and be authentic in that, and not people please and not worry about what other people think. And so I guess I'm saying this out loud right now because I'm channeling, and spirit is telling me to not care what anyone thinks. And if people want to think I'm crazy, then they can go on thinking I'm crazy. And I know in my heart, and there are other beings who are in these higher dimensions that also understand it, and that this is something for me to share. And so that's really where I'm at the moment. I reached out when we found out that it was I had been getting signs that it was a 7th dimensional pregnancy. I went to a Kundalini activation session, and in that Kundalini activation, I thought the babies were in 5D. I thought that I was birthing 5D babies. And so when I got out of that session, I had a clear message from my guides that said, look into the 7th dimension. That's where the answers are. And I was like, oh, okay, I don't know what that means. Like, I still haven't, I haven't fully been able to comprehend it myself, in this earth body, right? I'm sure my soul knows everything, as my guides tell me. But in the earth body, it has been a lot of purging indoctrinated beliefs and opening up my mind to what really is possible. And so the one thing I have told my family and friends is that the babies are waiting for a home, and our home is not ready for us right now. So we are currently in between homes, and it's been challenging being pregnant and being in between homes. But I know that this is all happening for us. And I will say this, like, not having a home has been really humbling. Not that I ever was much of a materialistic person, because I was far from it. I could easily leave all my stuff and start over again. I've done it a few times in my life. But I guess this time it's like, not having a shower for a few days, and then like having a shower and a bed to sleep in is like, oh my gosh, it's still luxury. And so, like, the little things that people take for granted every day, we're learning to be really grateful for those things. And being in the corporate position, I'm lucky to, not lucky, thank you, Spirit. I'm blessed and aligned to be able to work remotely. And for me, work remotely meant stay home and be behind a computer all day, even if I didn't have a lot of work to do, or I finished my work early, or it was not healthy. It was not healthy by any means. It was not anything that I wanted, and I was so ready to let it go. And now it's like, I don't have a choice. I don't have a home to sit behind a computer at. I have to have my computer wherever I'm at, and that may be a park, that may be a coffee shop, that may be just in the back of Dario's vehicle. And so I'm learning to embrace that, and I'm still able to get my work done, but I'm also grounding a lot more. I'm spending so much more time in nature than I would have. And so I'm really grateful for that, and I feel like that's happening. Well, I know that that's happening for us, that both Dario and I really needed this, being out in nature and kind of roughing it. um, so yeah, so that's where I'm at. I did reach out to a couple of sweethearts that really I thought would be able to understand the dimensions, and I just sent them an email and said, hey, this is what I'm going through. Are you what are your thoughts on it? And I did have a wonderful woman reach back out to me, and she did a channeling for me. And in the channeling, she explained more about what came through in regards to the 7D pregnancy. And it was so synchronistic with what I had been hearing throughout this pregnancy. It just let me relax a little bit, because I've been the only one hearing it. And so being the only one hearing it and saying it to people is very lonely. And it's when you question yourself and you wonder if you're losing your mind or what's going on with you. And so having someone reach back out and say, hey, I get this, like, I see what you're going through, and to be able to not judge me and really hold space for me and tell me, and channel for me and really give me some answers that to them felt like nothing, and to me it felt like everything. Like, it really helped me sink in. And so the one thing that I have learned through this is that the babies really are wanting me to, not just me, myself and Dario, to stay in the higher vibration. They cannot be born in a lower vibration. So if we want these babies to be born, they need to be in the 7th dimension. We need to be in the 7th dimension. We need to be and live in the 7th dimension, which is non-linear, which is why the timeline is not adding up for a quote-unquote normal pregnancy. But to be in that dimension, it requires a lot of purging and alchemizing of ancestral, I guess, healing of our ancestry, and actually just helping humanity. I'm getting that, like, we're transmuters. So a lot of time when we go out and we're around people, we're transmuting energies for them, or we're shining our light to bring up the shadows so that they can bring it up and purge it out and raise up to the higher dimensions with us. So it's taking a lot out of us physically and emotionally. It's been an emotional roller coaster for myself, and probably for Dario too. But it's getting the information I did today, the channeling that I had today, it really helped. And I know that we need to hold the vibration, and we need to purge and alchemize, and that these babies are going to be so incredible. And new earth, I mean, completely new earth babies, and on a whole different level. And the fact that we're doing this right here, like in the city of San Diego, we're not going to the middle of nowhere. We're really shifting the vibration right where we're at, and we know that we're here to help others and to show the way. And so here we are, pioneering something completely new in Earth realm, and being open and letting go and surrendering and rising. And yeah, so I guess that's it for now. I just wanted to do like a quick little video diary, and I know that this will all come into some kind of training or session or whatever it may be. I know that Spirit has been guiding me to channel more, and I'm trying to figure that out. And it's coming. It's coming. I need to not figure it out and just do it and just be. And yeah, hopefully everything in this message was captured, and I'll let it go from there. So, adios.